Welcome back to the Vet S.O.S podcast. Remember, don't drown to see a transition. Grab the Vet S.O.S Lifeline. Vet S.O.S is brought to you by the Who You Know Network and proud members of the Prairie Deck community. Today, we're sitting down with Michelle Keller, Senior Director of Development for Farm2Veteran. This is a very interesting program, something that I learned about, and I was talking with Michelle about. I'm fascinated to jump into this because I think this is an opportunity that our community can really benefit from, and they got some exciting things going on, so I'm really looking forward to that. A big fish in a tiny pond. Keith, how you doing today?
Big fish in a tiny pond. I think it's quite the opposite. This pond is extremely big, and I am extremely small with it. So no, but it is always good to be here, Sean. I appreciate you having me on as always, brother.
That's trying to catch you off guard.
Oh, you did, because I was looking at the show notes. That is not what you were supposed to say. I had a response for what you were supposed to say. So
Yeah,
a little peek behind the curtain for all the listeners. We have show notes and kind of have an idea what we might talk about a little bit. We always ad lib somewhat, but
yep, and I didn't change those from last month.
oh really? Okay. Well,
All right, there we go. Now we're letting everybody in on all the secrets.
mm-hmm.
All right, so
2 episodes ago we talked about how we don't know, we're recording on a Saturday morning rather than a Tuesday night.
Everybody's just the wonderful Wizard of Oz is out now.
There it is. Yep.
All right, back on track here. Michelle Keller is she's over there going, "What did I get myself into?"
I know, right? She's like, I got these two old guys from the Muppets going at it, and I'm just over here trying to talk about my organization.
Hey, no worries. No worries at all. It's all fun.
Yeah, I tell people I laugh more during recording of this show than I probably do all week long. Like this, just the weirdest things happen, and we have a lot of fun too. So, all right, here we go. Back on it. Let's be professional here. Michelle Keller is the Senior Director of Development for Farm2Veteran, an Illinois-based nonprofit organization dedicated to feeding veterans in need across the country. Farm2Veteran was born in 2020 as a previously for-profit farm transitioned into a 501c3 organization donating 100% of its products to feeding veterans in need. Farm2Veteran provides a solution to veterans living in food deserts or those who may struggle to reach markets due to mobility or other challenges. Farm2Veterans has donated over 420,000 meals since inception, made possible by vital donations from generous supporters. All proceeds from the event will support the organization's mission to expand partnerships with other farms across the nation to serve veterans in all 50 states. That's just, I love the mission. Can't wait to get into this. Michelle, how are you doing today?
Doing well, Sean. Thanks so much for having me on.
Oh, we're glad to have you, and hopefully we can be a little bit more professional there, Keith.
I know what you're talking about. I'm always professional.
No. Nobody would tune in if we were professional. So
exactly.
All right. So, tell us about your journey to get into where you are now. Like, what made you want to work for a veteran support organization? Like, how's that whole thing develop?
So, a funny kind of story, like when I came on board, this did not exist. So I actually answered a Facebook ad for a job, pretty local. I was in the corporate sector for many, many years, kind of was getting a little bit burnt out, and was like, you know what, I want to be closer to home, have something that I can just, do something close to home. My daughter was in high school at the time. I wanted to make sure that I was able to be at her events and that kind of thing. For the corporate job, I was traveling an hour and a half one way, commuting. City of Chicago, like commutes could be 20 minutes or they could be an hour, 20 minutes. And it just depends on when you hit traffic. So I answered a Facebook ad for a serial entrepreneur, and he wanted somebody to kind of take on a couple businesses, but like part-time for multiple businesses, which equated to full-time hours. And it was about 10 minutes down the road. And I was like, all right, I'll do this. And he goes, wait a minute, you have a lot of experience. Let's sit down and let's talk. And one of the things was this for-profit farm. And he was struggling to just get people to like show up when they said that they were going to get eggs, or when they were going to pick up their half a hog or any of that stuff. And he's like, I really always wanted to do something for veterans. So how can we make this work? So our founder and CEO, Kevin, plus our farm manager and myself kind of brainstormed and figured out what we can do. And from this, the three of us decided, why don't we just give everything to veterans? And we tried to see if we can make it work. Of course, this was in January of 2020, just so you know. So we all know what happened. So it was kind of delayed, and of course, the IRS with getting 501(c)(3)s established at that time, it took about 8 months to actually get the status. But in the meantime, we were working on all the back end stuff of how we can actually make this work. So I've been here since the beginning. So it was never a let's, getting into, but coming in at the ground level and just making, and I have military in my family. My grandfather served, actually, both my grandfathers served. One was in the U.S. Army. The other one was actually in the Polish cavalry during World War II and was captured by the Nazis.
Oh wow.
So he was in the concentration camp, but obviously I'm here. So he made it out. So it was, I have veterans on both sides of the family, not necessarily United States veterans, but I feel like he fought for the good side. So he still counts. They've both since passed, but it was just one of those things that I always had military in the family. Currently have a cousin who's in the Air Force, and just it kind of is near and dear to my heart. I did want to serve, it just didn't work out. Life circumstances, that kind of thing. I was in junior ROTC in high school. That's actually where I met my husband. And, we reconnected many years later, but it was just one of those things I do have. And it was like just getting to that point of these people serve for our country. Let's do something for them. And that's where the organization was based out of is we want to give back. And it started, we had some bumps along the road as any organization when it starts. One of the first locations that we started dealing with wasn't actually giving it to veterans. They told us they were.
Oh wow.
And now we have fail safes in place that, we make sure we do spot checks, we do visits, we ask for feedback, just to make sure that it's going to the population that we're actually trying to serve.
That's man, I hate hearing that. But
Right.
I'm glad you found out about it and you put fail safes in place after that. So, um, well, so tell us how does the program work? Like how do you guys operate? How's this whole thing happen?
So when we started working with like just a food bank, and that's where we had a little bit of the issue. So then we kind of changed our model, and now we have looked at a holistic approach to the veterans that not only do they need food, but they need other supportive services. So we work with those types of organizations. One of the biggest ones that we worked with in Illinois, that was kind of our first pilot test program, is an organization called VOA Illinois. But they have three supportive housing programs. So it's housing just for veterans, and they have to meet certain qualifications, whether it's income and this, and to get the subsidized housing. But they also provide mental health services and job placement and that kind of thing. But they just didn't have a food program. So that's where we came in. And we provided them with a refrigerator and a freezer. And every week, whether it's the one location or the other, we kind of flip flop between the two locations. They get a donation of eggs. We fill up freezers full of meat, and then they get fresh produce as well. So that's kind of also spiraled into other organizations, and whether or not that's something like a VA hospital or a veterans home or a veterans assistance commission, everything that we work with now is provides additional services than what we can just provide. So we're not only taking care of that health of the food for the veterans, but then they're also able to get, whether it's assistance filling out paperwork, whether it's, you know, mental health services or any other type of things that the other organizations can bring on to kind of look at everybody's organization as a whole and make sure that that veteran's taken care of from in every aspect that they can.
A new approach there, Keith. Farm to table veteran service.
Right. I'm curious. I don't know if this really provides more insight into the organization other than just my own curiosity. So your model is like you produce the food, but you still partner with other folks. Is there a small, is it because of you're trying to stay small scale that you're not like doing your own food pantries and thing of that nature? Like you don't want to get that big and grow that way? Or I'm just curious, like what's driving this smaller scale of partnering rather than providing the food directly?
So, the partnering has two folds. One, they're already vetting veteran status. So everyone that walks through their door, they're already checking their veteran status, they're checking their need status. If we were able to do, and it might be something that we do in the future, but we're also only 5 years old. So
Yeah.
as far as a nonprofit, we're very small, and what we've been able to accomplish in that time, I think, is a pretty good thing. Um, but it's one of those things where we never wanted to take on that responsibility of, are you a veteran or not? And turning people away because they don't have the proper credentials or anything. Whereas these places that can actually partner with, and a lot of these folks, like for instance, the house veterans locations, that's their houses, like that's their homes. They're 60-unit apartment buildings, or that. So it's going to the veterans directly. It's just a matter of where some of them do have to go. We're not doing like a Meals on Wheels where we're delivering it straight to their houses. We just don't have the infrastructure or the personnel for that just yet. It might be something down the line.
Yeah. Well, and I think therein lies why you're able to grow to, I think you're in 9 states now.
Correct.
And in 5 years, I mean, that's huge. You went from just being in Illinois, now you're in 9 different states. And yeah, that's kind of where I think I knew the answer, but I was just kind of curious, like where the business model aspect was coming from. So no, that's amazing. I mean, the fact that you're able to get, was it 400,000 veterans fed, is just mind blowing. So what's how do you measure the metrics for this, when you're looking at partnerships and things like that? Like, you know, what's what are you telling these organizations to encourage them to join up into the program?
So basically, when we have organizations, we kind of do our homework. We make sure that they're actually a legitimate, veteran organization, that they have a set standard, like that their values measure our own. Um, and that's we just kind of vet everything on a case by case basis and just see if we have the ability. And if it's in a different state, like that's also okay. Like it's just a matter of now, okay, we have organizations that we want to work with, but now we have to find that partner farmer to help us in that state.
Yeah.
Because we have 60 acres of ourselves, but 60 acres is not going to be able to feed, you know, I think we're on track to do 250,000 meals this year alone. Um, it's kind of crazy, but uh, probably by the end of the year, we'll be well over 500,000 meals served. So we're like really excited about that. But just getting that partner. So we're not only supporting our veterans, but we're also supporting our small to mid-sized farmers and ranchers in other communities that may be struggling. I mean, I have one gentleman that's in Florida that he tells me the partnership that we have with him is a godsend because the meat market down there kind of dried up. And the fact that
Mm.
I can call him and say, hey, this is what we're planning on doing this year, but there might be times where I need to, jump in and do an extra head of cattle. And when I call him, he's like, "You are my favorite person to talk to because he knows he's going to get a check from us. He knows we're paying fair market value, and he knows that it's going to a good cause." So it's like an overall like great feeling for him.
That's fantastic. So how do you find out about these different locations? So like myself living in Florida, if I want to, reach out to one of these partners of yours to help support or what have you, how would I do that?
So most of our, like I said, most of our locations are through this VOA program. They are actually have veteran programs in 35 different states. Um, So in major cities and that kind of thing, I want to say in Florida, we have 13 different locations, everywhere from Key West up to Tallahassee. Like it's the entire state. Um, the funny thing is Florida is one of my favorite places because the woman that I work with that is over all the programs in she calls me and she goes, "Do you know, you guys had a hurricane down there?" And one of the locations was right, I can't remember the city at the moment, but one of our locations was right when the hurricane hit. And the only way that they were able to have food was because the freezer was on a generator and they were able to grill meat. And they said for 2 days, all they had was burgers and steaks and like this big, huge, like almost like family type event where everybody was helping out. And the only reason we were able to do that was because of the meat that we had been donating. Um, But as far as organizations, like they're throughout the country right now. We are trying to grow. People can reach out to us if they think that there's a program that, a veteran organization that wants to have this. We are more than willing to have a conversation. It does take a little bit of time because obviously it's not like going to the grocery store and the meat's right there. We need to grow it, whether it's the produce or the eggs. It's just, it takes time. Farming takes time. So, but yeah, we do have organizations. We have them mostly listed on our website of the partners that we work with, and where we serve. Um, but if there's a gap in something or if there's a new state, anybody's feel free to reach out to us and we can figure out where we can move there.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
and so with that, for anybody listening that's interested in reaching out, like, what story would you tell them to? Because admittedly, I've heard some. I hate it when I hear this, but I hear some things like, "Oh, well, why isn't the VA taking care of that?" And just veterans hate sounding like they're part of a pity party, right? So what's the story we tell to address the food disparity within the veteran community without it being a negative connotation?
Well, when we're doing our programs and everything like that, it is not the fail-safe. We're not going to be able to provide every single meal that you're ever going to eat. This is a supplementary thing. And I know benefits are out there, but we've also seen where some of those folks can't get to a grocery store. Some folks have mobility issues or disabilities and they can't, or honestly, even PTSD where they don't want to leave the house. So the fact that it can kind of come to an organization or someplace that they're already going to get services, I think that really helps. And it's not we've also heard stories, especially even from counselors, where even with benefits, you're trying to stretch your dollar. And to get, a pound of ground beef and a dozen eggs, just for that instance, the cost of that currently is kind of cost prohibitive. And you can almost get like 2 boxes of sugary cereal for the same cost, and that's going to give you a lot more meals. Where that is not giving you the healthy nutrition that you need for your body to be able to then fuel your mind and fuel, just you in general. Like, so it's a healthy aspect. It's more of we're trying to give you a few healthy meals here and there to be able to supplement what you're getting on a normal basis. And it's not a pity party. It's not anything like that. It's we are doing this because we feel you did something great for our country. We want to give back. It's it's not a handout. It's not like charity. It's wholesome food. It's made to make sure that you can sit around the table, that you can have that camaraderie, that you can just have the greatness of just having a meal and knowing that it was actually made for you. Like the beef and the chicken and the eggs and the produce was all grown specifically for the purpose to go to the veterans, not anybody else.
Absolutely
Yeah,
love that.
it's a beautiful story. And veterans, however, we tend to be pretty stubborn,
Proud.
especially admitting that we
Yeah.
need. Yeah, exactly. So what do y'all do any kind of outreach? I mean, because you're doing all this outreach with organizations, especially with all these other states involved. What sort of outreach are you doing, if any, but to reach the veterans and be like, hey, I get it. You've been surviving on ramen and pure pride for the last 3 months, but accepting this fresh produce is not admitting defeat here. You know?
So we've actually gone, for instance, there's a veterans home that's not too far, and I probably go there once a month. And sometimes it's literally to just sit and talk with the guys and be like, "Hey guys, what do you guys want? Do you like this? Do you not like this?" Admittedly, some of them say that I'm their girlfriends now. It's kind of a fun thing. So they'll be like, "Oh, my girlfriend's coming today," and
Oh,
I'm
I
like,
love it.
"I'm married," and they're like, "It's okay, just don't tell your husband." Like it's just like it's. And some of these are 70-year-old, 70, 80-year-old Vietnam vets, and they're
Yep.
telling me the stories of, what happened when they were out there. One guy claims that he probably has 5 children in Vietnam that he just doesn't know about. It's the fun stories, and they're sometimes they're like, well, I really don't need it. I was like, yeah, but we want to give it to you, and they're like, but this person deserves it more. I said, okay, well, have them come out. And it's a lot of those conversations that kind of you get that core group and then they kind of like disseminate it out. Our first time that we were there, there was maybe 3 guys. Now every time I go, it's really funny because it's like they all have like the mobility scooters because they're all a little older, and you see the parade of them just like coming down the street because they know that I'm going to be there. And it's a great time. And I mean all of the locations that we work with, we'll have Zoom meetings. We want to get feedback from the veterans of what works, what doesn't. Like we have, for instance, one of our produce folks, apparently they don't like kale at that particular location. They're like, "Can we not get kale?" And I was like, "That's fine. We can change it." Like that's the kind of thing we want to take that feedback back from the veterans and find out what they did like and what they don't like. And if they don't like kale, why give it to them if it's going to be wasted? So we want to make sure that we're getting them the right mix of things to make sure that everybody's happy and healthy.
I didn't realize you met my father. Because he'd be the one.
In
He'd be the
Illinois?
one calling you the girlfriend, and yeah, just the saying he's got 5 kids in Vietnam. He would say that kind of stuff.
But what is that? What is the age where you truly can say whatever you want to say? I can't wait
Right?
to reach that age where there's
To be
always just
honest,
a
I feel
crazy
like
old
if
guy.
you're a veteran, you can say whatever you want to say, no matter
I don't
what
know about
age.
that.
Still not quite
Um,
there yet, but my dad's definitely at that point.
all right, so you guys got an event coming up.
We do.
Tell us about
Um,
it.
so we do have our first fundraising gala. We kind of went big. We had a benefactor that was said, sky's the limit. Make it a good party. So we are having an event on September 20th. It's at the Chicago Field Museum. It's called the Farm Fresh Hope Gala. It's going to be a night of just, laughter, fun, and everything, but it is headlined by David Spade. So he's going to come out
What?
and yeah.
Nice.
And we actually have we just confirmed that we have a host as well. His name is Tom Tran. He's a veteran who founded the GIs of Comedy. So he is a opener for us and a host, and he's gonna do a little set before David Spade. But yeah, it's gonna be a great time.
Holy cow,
And
that sounds awesome.
you've had some people making announcements too, haven't you?
We do, yeah. So David Spade just made his announcement, like I think a couple days ago.
That's
Didn't I
awesome.
see an announcement from somebody else though too?
I'm trying to think. Oh, Marcus Luttrell. Sorry. Oh, yes, that event is actually next week. So, that's happening on July 17th. He's coming to Voices of Valor. We're starting a speaking series where basically we have some prominent veterans come in and just have a chat with uh, invite only type of audience, and kind of intimate, anywhere from 100, like about 100 people or so. So he's coming to have a chat with us next week. So.
See, I confused my events then. Okay, but I mean, you guys got some big name people coming in
Yeah.
and helping you spread the word, which is just absolutely amazing. So how do people participate in this Farm Fresh Hope Gala?
Well, tickets are currently on sale
Okay.
at www.farm2 the number veteran.com/farm fresh hope. Tickets are available. Tickets include like, full full bar, appetizers, meal, the comedy show, and full access to the Field Museum after hours where nobody else is there. So it's just kind of we're going to have a great time. It goes from like 6 p.m. to, I think we have it until like 2 a.m. is when the last person can get kicked out. It's going to be a very long night, I'll tell you that much. But it'll be a great time. Uh, so.
But I don't think I've ever heard of a fundraising gala quite like this. Most of them are over by like 10 or 11, and it's usually a
Well,
full cash bar.
the folk, yeah, and I was gonna say you need to. Oof, man, I'm starting to see this thing turning into the Marine Corps birthday ball type.
Frog
If
bowl.
somebody starts, yeah, I was gonna say, if somebody says they want to get a grog going, Michelle,
Tell them
no,
no?
no,
Okay.
no, they cannot start a grog. That then the debauchery shortly thereafter begins. So, yeah, you're definitely gonna be kicking some of those veterans out at 2 a.m. still, though. I guarantee you that.
hey, you know what? That'll be security's problem, not mine. So I'll probably be with them, like just being like, hey, what do you guys want to do? And they'll be like, where are we going next? Where's the party going
Exactly.
now?
Exactly.
God help you
Uh,
if your scooter brigade shows up too.
Scooter Brigade, convoy
Hey, the one guy
operations.
likes his gin, so as long as I have the gin flowing, we'll be fine. So,
Yep, yep.
That is awesome. So I do have to ask, how in the world did you get David Spade involved? That's just so cool to me.
uh, so we actually ended up working with kind of a consultant, and like I said, we had that benefactor who was like, "Hey, I want to do like a big splashy thing," and he had a connection with an agent. We called, he said, "Yeah, I'll do it," and so he's going to be there.
Very cool.
Nice. So how do
Very
we do a
cool.
vet S.O.S. gala, Sean? We need to
Oh my goodness
got the
gracious.
gears turning now.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Full-blown fundraiser, huh? Well, I already
Why not?
have one person on my list, celebrity list that I want to try to track down and find to see if we can gain use of one of
I see.
their songs. Because I think it
Okay.
really applies to what we do. But we'll see. We'll see.
Nice. Man,
Um,
this whole program is amazing. Like, especially only 5 years old. And I didn't ask about the other individuals that are founding and helping run this, but I don't doesn't sound like any of them are veterans. And y'all are doing such amazing work for the military affiliated community. I mean, and actually that brings up another question. So you're talking about these other organizations that are vetting for you, which is great. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Do military families also get access to these services, or do you have to just be a DD 214 carrying type veteran?
So it depends on the organization that we work with. Like the military families, like especially like at the housed locations, there are full families there, kids, everything. So we even did a holiday party kind of them for them, where we actually had Santa in a Humvee deliver presents. It was like he was sitting in the turret and just like came down and delivered presents for all the kids. Um, so there are families involved. I know that the VA also allows families to come. So I'm not sure 100% if it's all military families, but I know a lot of locations do allow military families as well.
That's awesome.
Fantastic. Well, man, we've come down to the end again. It's I laughed way too much during this episode. My cheeks hurt
Good,
actually.
good.
It's the scooter
So
brigade. They bring the laughter
that's
to
the
every
yeah,
time.
right?
It reminds me of talking to patriotic Kenny.
Yeah, that's actually where my mind went. It kind of went to. You need to bring. There's a celebrity for you, Michelle.
Yeah.
You can look him up. Oh my God.
Patriotic
Patriotic
Kenny
Kenny
Okay, I'll look
Foundation.
them up.
That's another nonprofit. He's oh my God, Heart of Gold.
Was he in Chicago?
No, I
No,
don't
he
think
was
so.
Minneapolis. Minneapolis.
Minneapolis. Yep,
He was a Vikings fan. I think he
that's
was
right.
predicting them winning it all when we talked to him.
Yep, that's right. Yep. Um, But yeah, no, we are at time, unfortunately, Michelle. This was absolutely amazing. I love the heart of this. For future galas, we're not professional comedians, but obviously we're pretty goofy. If you want to have a different host next time, Sean and I are more than happy to have some banter and help run the shows. But no, thank you so much for coming on, Michelle. Yeah, everybody listening, check them out. Sounds, they're doing amazing things for our military community. If you need assistance, look them up. If you need to, if you want to help, look them up. So with that said, Michelle, how do people get in touch with you and or the organization?
Best way is through our website, our social media, farm2veteran, the number two, .com. If you do .org, it still directs to the same place too. But that's the best way to get in touch with us. Unfortunately, we do have a phone line, but there's only so many of us, and most of the times it doesn't get answered. So it's like leaving a message and then coming back, and I know people don't like to leave messages. So, best way, email, social media, anything like that, and that's the quickest way we can get back to you.
Awesome. Awesome. So thank you again, Michelle. I know we started off this episode, Sean, you said, small fish in a big pond. I would say that this organization is a small fish in a big pond making a huge splash. So
Yeah.
definitely check them out and see what they're doing and assist them in any way that you can. Or benefit from their services as well. So, and on behalf of the Vet S.O.S family, we'd like to thank everybody for joining us today. Vet S.O.S is spreading and growing its wings and growing and spreading its wings as well. I just totally screwed that line up. It's just one of those days. And you can follow us on all the social media platforms. Make sure to check out all 4 of our shows. And follow, subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts from. We're on YouTube, Reach Across America Radio, and the Prey Deck, and all the other good ones out there that you like to use. And as folks, I am so tongue-tied. Wow, I need to go take a nap.
Oh my
Remember,
goodness.
folks, don't drown in the sea of transition. Grab the Vet SOS Lifeline.